Hi there guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. This one is going to be how much should you risk on your funding challenge. Now, everyone who watches this video, you are going to need to risk a different amount, and the reason why is what I'm going to go over. So stick around till the end and obviously see what we're working with. So as mentioned, every single person watching this video is going to risk a different amount depending on how they trade, their mindset, and many other things. We're going to go over 3 points in this video. I want to make it as quick as possible just so it's easy for you to understand. The first point is always going to be your win rate and your risk to reward. So if you are someone who has a 40% win rate, you are most likely going to risk different to someone who has an 80% win rate. Me personally, over my kind of past trading experience, expect to see a 70 to 80% win rate on a 1.5 to 2 hour basis. Now, other people who are maybe trading the lower time frames, they're swing trading, they might target 5 to 1s. So if you are targeting 5 to 1s, your win rate is not going to be 80%. You usually, the more risk to reward that you go for, the lower your win rate. And that's just basic maths. So if you are someone who is going for high risk to rewards, I would probably say that your win rate is going to be lower. Therefore, it is not going to benefit you to risk 2% a trade because you might have many losers before you end up getting a winner. If you are going for a 10% target and you risk 2% a trade, it only gives you 5 positions to trade before potentially ending up obviously blowing the challenge. So that comes down to what you expect to see when you are trading. There might be some people out there that, you know what, you might actually have a good run and, risking 2%, you might win the first 2 trades and at obviously 5R, you're passing and even in one trade. But do you really want to be having that approach when it comes to exposure to how many losses you are taking? So first of all, regarding your win rate, I would say the higher your win rate, the more I would risk. And that's personally what I would do. I spent quite a while on my challenges risking 4.5% on the challenge phase. And over the course of, I think it was 6 to 7 months, I actually only lost one challenge. A few did stay at break even because the trade opportunities were few and far between, but I was able to risk a lot because I knew that there was a 70 to 80% chance that the trade was going to win. And the chance of getting 2 losses in a row was very, very unlikely. The next step is going to be your psychology. If we are looking at this map here, we are basically looking at the journey you may experience as a trader. You first start the challenge, you're very optimistic, you've got enthusiasm, everything's going well, you place your first trade. Then you hit the anxiety, you hit the denial, the fear. You're in the trade now. If you're over risking and you're not used to this, you're then going to start making different decisions and potentially risking less or more based on that. So when it comes to obviously the challenge itself, your psychology needs to be in check and you need to have a set plan from the start that no matter what happens, I am going to risk X% because over the course, if you're going to draw down and start risking 0.25% a trade on a challenge, you're most likely going to stay in drawdown. Okay? So that is basically the psychological journey that you need to obviously take yourself, and based on your previous experience, what's going to happen. For me, if you've got a 70 to 80% win rate, you're going to go into the challenge with higher risk, more confident. Whereas if you have a lower win rate, you may get 2 to 3 losers in a row, and on a higher risk, you're then going to find yourself potentially in drawdown and obviously chasing your way back to break even. Whereas if you've got a low win rate but a high risk to reward, you might only want to risk, 1% a trade because you know that if 3 trades go to plan, you're passing the challenge, as opposed to someone with a lower risk to reward multiple but wins more. They would obviously risk higher and get similar results. The last thing that I basically want to go over is the financial situation that you find yourself in. Can you afford to be taking these challenges, or is it your last, $500, £450, whatever you're kind of doing and the size of the challenge you are taking? If you find yourself needing to pass this challenge because it's your last hope and you've used your last amount of money, you're going to have more of an emotional attachment to the challenge. So when it comes to it, I would probably say that you want to risk maybe less because you want to be in the game for as long as possible. If you are someone who has, profits from trading, obviously a decent amount of money in the bank, then you might say, you know what, I'm going to approach this challenge as a high risk challenge. If I'm doing 100,000 FTMO, let's say it costs, £500, I know that losing that £500 is not going to be bad for me, because at the end of the day, I know I'm a profitable trader. So when I do pass, I'm going to get that money back. Now, that's not to mean that's being overconfident, but based on your statistics, you should be able to look at a situation and know exactly kind of what to expect from your challenge. Okay. So, for example, I have an ongoing funded account at the minute. I took one trade last week. I took 2.5% from the position, and I've had one break even this week. So the fact that I'm only seeing 1 to 3 trades per week, usually, I know that I can most likely risk a little bit more because the win rate's there, and I'm not going to end up blowing the account in a week because I'm not taking, double digit amount of positions. So it's something to keep in mind. So that is basically what I would say in a very short and simple format. If you are looking to take a challenge, please just bear these points in mind, apply it to what you've obviously been thinking yourself, and then following that, obviously, hopefully you can approach the challenge with a clear mind, and obviously you get it passed. So as always, guys, links to everything is in the description, and new video will be on